supporting us in our politics. And we have a very special guest today, but let me remind you, you can always check us on YouTube. Just go to Science TV Kenya, check Politics Today, give your comments there. Our guest, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you, Simba.
You're my boss in the party. Kindly just tell us your name and who you are, and probably before we proceed. Karibu.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ruben Mayabi is my name. I'm an engineer by profession. I'm also the current Secretary General of Labour Party of Kenya and a big citizen in the country.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, wow. Are you a youth? Are you?
By no means, no.
Okay.
I think I passed that bracket some years ago.
All right.
I am a grey man. Matters prosperity for the youth are things that I talk about, not for our generation but our generation to come.
Okay.
I think I'm grey.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Just in a quick, maybe 1 to 3 minutes, state of the nation, before we proceed. Where are we at? In your opinion, what is the state of this nation?
Politically,
Mambo's a drought, Mambo's whatever.
if I am supposed to speak about it in the sense of politics,
yes,
this would be my wording. Honestly, that push as citizen is greatly compromised in this country at the moment. Compromised to an extent that I look at our politics and I see politics as just another industry.
Okay.
An industry that, yes, contributes to the governance of our country, but a very small percentage. Today we have bigger industries that determines how we govern ourselves than even the politics itself. So where I stand today, I think if Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was supposed to resurrect, he wouldn't be happy with us. We have decided not to be loyal and truthful to the calling of us as citizens. To an extent that I see, it's easy for you to see wordings, phrases that passes like who will blink first, matters of actually security matters that touches politics and our well-being. And then you hear what we are propagating outside there, which is sending very negative vibes and not providing solutions. Somebody saying, who will blink first? Who is supposed to blink first? This country is ours, all of us. If it is drought, we can't blame anybody. We have to realize there are countries that are facing worse droughts than us. We just have to have that sense of common responsibility as citizens. Let us not use our problems to fight. By so saying, by no means am I supporting, am I saying that any one faction of the politics is wrong. All that is going on is very healthy and it's okay, because government needs to be checked and government needs to also deliver. So it's okay as long as we are not using our problems as weapons against each other.
Well said. Just in case you're wondering, our visitor today is Ruben Mayabi, the Secretary General of Labour Party of Kenya. And my name is Jonas Simba. Hapa huwa tunachapa siasa. So today we are going to talk about a few issues and then we will wait for your feedback. Just get into our social media platforms and give your feedbacks there. By the way, this is Science TV Kenya. Now, high cost of living vis-a-vis demonstrations. Hey, tutafanya nini? Ruben, tutafanya nini? You've just spoken of who will blink first. These are all serious issues we are talking about here. Who who is to blame for the high cost of living? What are we to do?
Thank you, Simba. I'm not sure if this will be
Yes.
relevant, but this is my honest opinion. Something that honestly I think it's what should pass. Like for instance, by any chance, I hope that question is not asking me if I have any doubts with the leadership of the president. I have none. He's experienced, he's well cut, he's got what it takes to lead this country. And I also hope that question is not asking me if I have any doubts with the leadership and ability of retired, former Right Honorable
Raila. Right.
Odinga. Yes. According to me, these gentlemen are doing what they need to do within the space that they have, which is very healthy. Now, putting what they're doing in the same sentence with hard, times, it's like you're saying without the president being the president, things would be better? No. Or without Raila being in the space that he's operating in now, things would be better? No. And that's why I'm saying it is very wrong for us to try to weaponize our problems. I think the opposition have a right within the democracy to check the government, what they are doing. At the moment, nobody has been taken to court for violating the constitution or any law. So far, so good, according to me.
Okay.
And also the president, he needs to be tough like he is. So if you are asking me to ask the president to turn down, then I'm telling you, it won't be me. And if you're asking me also to tell Raila to turn down, it won't be me. What I know is mpaka ile wakati wa Kenya watakuwa wazalendo kiwango kwamba watagundua shida zetu ni zetu, na tuache kutumia shida kupigana, then even if we get the best of the best as the president, he will still have a very tough time to deliver.
Right.
People still can go to farm and demonstrate. We are not demonstrating in your farm.
Right.
Yes, and also, why would the president want a country where everybody is saying yes to him? How much is that adding value to the next leadership even after he has finished, say, his 10 years? And I know he's bright enough to know he would want to leave the country better, more democratic, with space that appreciate and respect each and everybody as a citizen. So,
but then, sorry to just cut you short, but then there's been some few things that have been happening. Well, you say you won't tell him to tone down. That's okay. But what do you have to say about the likes of Matiang'i's arrest and Eric Omondi's issue being arrested? He's not toning down, but are we really on the right track? Does this look like a revenge in your opinion?
My question would be revenge against what? Like, who has offended Eric Omondi? Actually, I can tell you what you are doing is exactly what you're supposed to do within the space that you have, right? Mm-hmm. Eric is also doing exactly what he thinks he needs to do to add value within his space. And so I really don't see where the issue is. And that's why I'm saying, could we not weaponize our problems? If Eric Omondi is going to picket, demonstrate, or in whichever way, try to raise, to seek attention, that's right. Let him just operate within what is right, according to the law. just like you're trying to do now. You actually are seeking attention as a journalist within
Right.
your own rights. Yes, and people will actually you will get the attention. People will respond to the issues based on what you're giving them as the content. But if you are also attaching the same scenario to Matiang'i, I would say, thank God for what the government and the president have done, because to be a leader, it's sacrificial. Most people might not understand it. Of course, there's a big number within the leadership of this country that goes to those positions to make wealth. And shame on them, because then if you do not have the mind to create wealth on your own, why would you want to be a leader? A leader should be somebody who, yes, he is getting that little bit that he's earning from his office. He's able to channel his energy to production with or without his office. In that case, he's a role model. He can actually challenge the coming generation to be better than him. But there is, I want this to be really clear. There is a clique of leadership in this country that all they've ever done is to sacrifice.
Sacrifice what?
Like, it's not like you're going into that position to enjoy. You're going to eat because actually it can even go with your life. To be a Minister of Interior in Kenya, it's not a simple thing. It's not. It's not a joke. I can tell you, my mother will not allow me to be there if she was to be asked, can we appoint this guy to be in this office?
Right.
She loves me that much. Yes. So then when I see somebody who, regardless of the mistake he did in that office, he executed them only because he was in that office. So if we are going to start discouraging people from being bold and making decisions based on their offices, then we are going to compromise on the quality of leadership in this country. And to that end, I say it was wrong to prosecute Matiang'i, our former minister, publicly. It was very wrong. There were better ways of handling it.
Right.
But I thank God that the president and the government have chosen a better way. In this case, we are able to motivate those who are bringing quality leadership in our country to not be cowards. You get it? Like,
Right.
even if my mother tells me, no, I need to realize the country is where it is because there are some people who actually paid by their own blood. So because I have benefited from them, it doesn't break the future of my family if I also be part of the list that actually paid with their blood. Because this is our country, and we need to get to this level where we defend our future as a country by all means. And because of that, I think the Matiang'i route, the way the government was taking initially, is a no.
I interacted with you, by the way, SG, I call you engineer. So there is a lot that you've done initially in leadership. I'm aware of some of those things. One of them was you were running for the Mathare parliamentary seat, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the president has just appointed, the IBC selection committee, gazetted it, 7 members. These are the people who are going to appoint the next Chebukati. And this is one of the major reasons why we are having Azimio rallies. They feel one of the players has taken all the rights to appoint the referee. Do you agree with the Azimio leadership, or what's your take on this IBC selection committee matter?
To be honest, I am 100% in agreement with Azimio's sentiment. But don't get me wrong, it's just up to some extent. Everything that the president had done and the government, it didn't just happen within 24 hours. It's been a process.
Right.
So it befits logic for, I mean, we might not have that confidence in the presidency, say, according to Azimio, right? But does it mean that we have no confidence in any constitutional office in this country?
So, okay, proceed.
And if we do have some confidence in some of the offices, then wasn't it better we channeled our grievances, our doubts towards those offices? Like, for example, instead of picketing on IEBC, was it hard to picket over probably the judiciary? If say judiciary, because the president is rightfully there, right?
Right.
And if they are seeing, because constitutionally there was no way the president was not going to oversee this process of appointing and putting the IEBC commission in place. It is part of the leadership of the president to do that. If he wouldn't have done that, he would be wrong. Now that he's done that, he is again wrong. So I'm looking at a situation where I'm not saying that there are no issues pertinent that Azimio is raising. There is. But then I'm asking myself, if I was Baba, honestly, I would start somewhere. Even if I don't have to finish the whole of the problem, I'll push it somewhere and make sure that it can be finished for the betterment of the country. Because he would have gone to court. Like, I should. Actually, I am supporting Baba on that. I should, because there are also issues that I'm supposed to be raising as a politician.
Right.
But because I didn't, do I now blame the president? Just like I said before, leadership comes with a cost. And I can tell you, you talk to any retired president, whether in Kenya or out of Kenya, they'll tell you, you look at them and you celebrate them and you think it's easy. It's not. So I know it's not easy being His Excellency, the President, William Ruto. It's not.
Right.
I'm speaking that way because there are also some leadership roles that I play in my life at the moment. And I'm asking myself, if at this level I get some sleepless nights sometimes, then how much more if I was the president? So I support what Azimio is doing,
right.
But I'm also telling the president, I mean, if you're right within the law, you deliver, because we will judge you based on that.
Yeah. You're right. You're right about the problems, and I'm looking at the many problems we have mentioned. I'm looking at drought. You've mentioned, the issues we are facing. I'm looking at banditry right now. It's a major issue. We are dealing with foreign debt as a country. That's another major problem we are having. There are many problems that we are facing right now. You've heard of the mass defense of democracy by any means. You've heard of the Azimio approach to dealing with these problems. What I'm hearing you say is that you're not for the approach they are taking against these problems, or am I hearing you correctly?
Not per se. Where this has reached, they don't have any other way other than to picket. But then I'm asking myself,
yes,
can two be patriotic enough to not wait until the last moment to have this problem? Because it would have been fair for me as a Kenyan to know that, okay, the IEBC will be selected in whichever way we're already doing. Because, I mean, No law has been broken, by the way, if you look at it. But if we are saying that we couldn't go to court because of our lack of faith in the judiciary as an institution, then I would rather. Rome was not built in one day. And my desire is, can we have results? Can we not just be doing a merry-go-round of an issue forever, right?
Right.
So then, it would make sense to me, and it would be so selfless of Baba, according to me. And I'm sorry, I'm not at par with Baba, so I'm not trying to question him. Far from it. Don't mistake me.
All right.
Yes, he's far much right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and maybe not be seen to try to be saying that I am wiser to his.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What I'm saying is, I'm looking at his, say as a novice, but I'm saying it would be adding more value, according to me, to say, okay, based on the timeline that the Constitution provides to have the IEBC in place, we don't have time, right?
Right.
But the reason why we are not going to court to challenge that is because we don't have faith in judiciary.
Yeah, we don't have confidence.
So then, I should say that let IEBC proceed, let the president proceed with IEBC, and let's add value to his leadership by giving him an institution that now we have confidence in. Meaning, whether Baba will vie or he won't vie, the next time there is an election, the judiciary arm of government that will be overseeing that particular exercise is not biased. We get it?
Right.
Yes. And at that particular moment, a lot of people will be out to make it, because then we are not talking about election throughout. We are talking about adding value in the system that governs us, at least one step at a time.
All right.
And if you're talking about drought, like you're saying, honestly, we have countries that are not as endowed in terms of wealth like us. Do you know that Kenya is number 4 in terms of population in Africa?
Oh, really? Okay.
We are not just anybody. We are a reasonable percentage in this continent. Actually, we should be doing much more, not just for us. Like, that's why I said, if Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was to resurrect today, there was a time he was handing out food to refugees in his leadership.
Right.
At the moment, we have just been receiving and receiving and receiving, and we are bringing this, inculcating a culture of just expecting and keep on expecting and receiving. Even in campaign, it is giving and giving and giving and giving. So,
yes,
even the governance of this country today is not in the hands of politics anymore. Politics, yes, is playing a substantial role, but maybe 15-13%. Because the corporate world they have a bigger percentage in terms of influence in our politics than even the politicians themselves, than even the political parties.
Is that why there are going to be boycotts? You heard they'll announce some boycotts.
And it's when we start playing a politics of boycotts, remember that cash flow that we are trying to assassinate adds value to you without your knowledge. It does. It doesn't have to go through your pocket for it to be valuable to you as a citizen. And that's why, to me, I think there are better ways. And it should start by us being patriotic. Yes.
Corruption is a major issue here. The likes of Azimio leaders will tell you that the reason why they don't have faith in these constitutional bodies is because of corruption. The judges, according to them, can be corrupted.
the Bishop Oginde is being appointed as the head of ESCC.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh,
And,
thanks.
I hope he takes it. But again, I think Christians need to pray for him, because I can assure you, high chances are, if I stood before being a Christian, if I stood before the throne of grace, before my Lord Jesus Christ,
right,
and Bishop Oginde was standing there, and asked him, Bishop, confess today that you have never, ever in your life been involved in corruption. Chances are he'd say, son, I'm as guilty as all of us. So then, this thing, actually, the issue should not even be preaching against corruption. It is, we need to get to a point where we feel responsible as Kenyans and we become patriotic. Like from schools, where are we funding the culture of being responsible, or are we funding the culture of being expectant, getting freebies? Yes. And because once we do not have this culture, ISO standards don't operate in Japan. Have you ever wondered why? Any produce, any product that comes from Japan, all they use is made in Japan.
Oh.
Yet me here in Kenya as an engineer, if I'm supposed to produce anything, I need to pass the ISO standards for my goods to be considered as worth of the market. Even America, do you know why? The culture in Japan is so strong that everybody feels the sense of being responsible.
Right.
We will assassinate tribalism, nepotism, corruption.
Right.
The precept of all this problem is because Kenya will be sold to the highest bidder. Very few of those who are in leadership ranks are able to say, if I got to die, I'll die. This country needs to be protected and its posterity. Very few. Yes.
Wow. Now, SG, we are about just to end our bit there, just to go for a break. But I want you to just wind this up in a minute and tell us, people are marching to State House. Are you for it?
Am I making this statement to my fellow citizens, or am I making this statement to the leadership, like Mr. President,
or to anybody who is watching, be it the leaders, be it your fellow citizens?
Then if I'm supposed to be candid, it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Then, even in your family, and you said within a minute, there are things you don't tell your children, right?
Right.
You handle it with your wife.
Right.
Yeah, leadership is the same. You do not spill everything. You don't go to press conference and just yet you can find a way of talking to the leadership, at least if you believe in that leadership. But if I'm supposed to talk to Kenyans, I would say, let Kenyans go by the conviction they have. This is their country. Who am I to tell anybody not to go to the toilet, for example?
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, you belong here, you own this, you are a shareholder. You feel something is wrong, pick it. You feel something is not wrong, proceed with your life.
Well said. Viewers, that is Ruben Liala. Ruben Mayabi.
Bottom line. Yes.
Wow. We are going for a break. This is Politics Today. Let's come back after this break. See you. Karibu sana. Welcome back. This is Politics Today. We have been with Ruben Liala in the first section, the Secretary General of the Labour Party of Kenya. This is section 2, and we are with, hey, by the way, utasema wewe ni nani? Hi.
Hi.
Jambo.
Jambo.
Oza.
Oza.
Hebu tuambie wewe ni nani?
Nikijitambulisha, jina ni Damian Evans Juang.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Juang, mimi ni mtu ambaye anapenda masuala za kisiasa.
Right.
Pia mimi ni mpigaji kura. Na pia mimi ni mtu ambaye analipa ushuru pia. Katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na pia napenda kufuatilia masuala ambayo yanahusu maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya, na pia najihusisha kwa njia zote ambazo naweza tumia ili kuhakikisha kwamba mimi pia nimechangia maoni yangu ili kufanikisha maendeleo katika masuala mbalimbali katika nchi ya Kenya.
So unaitwa Damian Juang.
Yeah, Damian Evans Juang.
Damian Evans Juang.
Yeah.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
My name is Jonas Simba. Now, hapo kwa kujihusisha with masuala bla 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 bla. Lugha changamoto, but there on participation of the youth. You're a youth, I would suppose.
Yes, I am.
There is this demonstrations and demonstration. You know, when I say demonstration, I mean the march to State House.
Yes.
And demonstrations, the many demonstrations in the counties and in the different places in the grassroots.
Yes.
Unajihusisha na hayo?
Nitasema sijajihusisha. From ODM, yes. Sijajihusisha kana kwamba sijakuwa ndani, lakini nitasemaje, moyoni ninaunga mkono. I support the demonstrations because they are legal. Everything that is in the law is just okay. Article 37 of the Constitution says every person has the right to peaceably and unarmed to hold demonstrations, to picket, and to channel their petitions to the respective public offices. Kwa hivyo ni haki ya watu ambao wanafanya demonstrations kuendelea nazo kwa sababu ya katika sheria.
But honestly, to the State House, ama you count the State House as a public office?
The Constitution says that channel their petitions to the public office. The State House is the State House, so it is the first public institution.
No, but many would argue this is lack of respect to the presidency. Not the person there,
yes,
but the office of the presidency. Surely, how do you picket?
I would say our democracy has come of age, Mr. Simba. And I will tell you, there are even jurisdictions whereby, I think there's a country, I've forgotten the name, but there is a country where, there are other countries where people have held demonstrations, even to the houses of the presidents.
Are you talking about Sri Lanka?
Okay, there's Sri Lanka. The president was ejected from office, you see. And you remember the case of Muammar Gaddafi. People had to picket. They had to be forcefully removed from office. But you see, I'm not saying that the president is supposed to be removed from office, but you see, here comes a country that has provided laws for everything. So while there is demonstration, there is a caveat in the law, because the Constitution says to peaceably, not armed or not violent. So as long as the demonstrations are peaceful, every individual, every citizen has every right to demonstrate.
It's just, is it a matter of coincidence, or these countries talk now that you are talking on the international level?
Yes.
Nigeria,
yes,
Tunisia,
yes,
and Kenya, all are demonstrating on the 20th.
Including South Africa.
Oh, South Africa also doing it on the 20th.
Julius Malema is organizing demonstrations.
What is wrong with March the 20th?
I wouldn't say...
Is it coincidence, or is it that they talk?
These people do talk. Remember, African politics actually has issues that we have cross-cutting issues.
When you talk, proceed. Yes. You will come back to Julius Malema. I want you to speak a little bit about him.
We do have cross-cutting issues.
Right.
Look at in the case of Nigeria. the opposition is decrying electoral injustice. They are saying that the elections were characterized by violence, there was voter bribery, the election was not free and fair. The same issues are here in the country. The outside is complaining about electoral injustice, and of course, other than the electoral injustice, there is also the economic issue. Like in South Africa, they are complaining about the economy. They are complaining about the job opportunities. They are saying that the economy is bad. There is rampant corruption. More or less cross-cutting issues. So from time to time, I do believe these African statesmen do hold talks, and choosing 20th as a day, I think they want to give it prominence because they want to present these issues as African issues, which are actually being cross-cutting.
Talking about South Africa, there is a lot of electricity problems there.
Yes.
Are you aware?
I'm very much aware.
I'm told electricity is becoming very scarce in South Africa.
Electricity has become very, very scarce in South Africa. And more or less, that's why I'm saying these issues are cross-cutting. In Kenya, electricity is there, but now the bills are so high. So we have very many challenges in South Africa. You know, there is high rate of unemployment in South Africa. You know, and participation of youth in politics in South Africa has also dwindled, unlike in the past, whereby we had the ANC, African National Congress, Youth Congress. We have also had very many youth camps, youth groups that have come up, that were there during the struggle for independence, the ones that were spearheaded by the likes of the late Nelson Mandela. We had people like Walter Sisulu, we had people like Steve Biko. There were very many movements, political movements that were there, but over time they have died because perhaps the citizenry or the people of South Africa have decided to concentrate on other issues. So there are very many cross-cutting issues that are happening in these countries. Yes.
I talk to most of the people in the electoral bodies. I have friends within the Kenyan electoral IEBC.
Yes.
I have friends in the Nigerian electoral, what is it called, the body?
The Electoral Commission.
Yes, and I spoke to one of them, and she was telling me things went fairly. Tinubu won.
Well, you see,
yes.
you might have won, but you see, they sit as an electoral body. You see, definitely they have to give it a clean bill of health.
Yes.
But you see, we cannot run away from issues that are raised. The position led by Obi, Mr. Obi alleges or says that this and this happened. There was electoral malpractice. You know, there was voter bribery. You know. There are many issues that disrupted a free and fair electoral process. Because, you know, this is the reason why sometimes we might not really agree with the electoral body. Because an election is a process, not an event. Let us not only look at the material day of the elections as the election itself. You see, it is a lengthy process that involves voter registration. You know, it involves civic education. There is a period and a calendar of campaign that is dispatched to politicians or candidates eyeing different positions. Yeah. So as long as any of these processes has been faulty or tampered with, the material day of the elections is as good as useless, because an election is a series, or is a process, a series of events, not a single event. That's why they say an election is a process and not an event.
So in your opinion, are we on the right track with the gazettement of the 7 IEBC selection panel?
Wow, that is quite a thorny issue. The gazettement might have appeared to follow a legal process.
Right.
Yes, but you see, we have concerns from some quarters, like from our side, you know. We have concerns, you know, because we say that this process, let's face it, it is a political process. It is a political process, so there needs to be involvement of political parties or members or leaders of certain political organizations. because you know the IBC is a referee, and a referee stands at the middle. You know, you stand at the middle. You're not supposed to you're supposed to stand at the middle and ensure that you provide a level fair field. So this other side will feel they have been underprivileged because they were not called to participate in the process of identifying the said 7 commissioners who will be commissioners designate.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are issues there, and I really feel that there could have been involvement, and not only the politicians, probably the clergy and everyone, because you know IBC is a public institution. IBC exists to serve the public, as established under Article 88 of the Constitution.
Yeah, but that panel is constituted of somebody from the IRC, Inter-Religious Council, something like that. It is the Law Society of Kenya. Then it also consists, and that's where the bone of contention is, people from the Public Service Commission, and that's where the problem seems to be lying.
People from the Public Service Commission. Remember, Article 88 of the Constitution expressly says that anyone who is to serve as a member of the Commission must not be a state officer. So there is even a place at the beginning where it says for at least 6 months you must not have been in service with the public, at the public service. So you see, those individuals, we do not know the criteria that was used to select them. It was not made public. If there were consultations, we do not know even if we have members of the LSK or IRA. You know, today I can wake up Simba and say I've selected Simba. But that does not mean that I have selected the people you represent. As long as I did not consult them, as long as I did not engage them, it will appear like cherry picking. I just chose you, and then because it will be on air, I'll present a face that I've taken one of the people from a category that has never had a representative, which is far from the point. Yeah.
Wow. High cost of living. That's one of the bone of contentions, apart from the IBC issue, in your Azimio rallies.
Yes.
Is the cost of living that high?
It is very high, Simba. Come on. High. Even the credit that I use.
Yes.
I wonder whether is it that I'm poor? I don't know. I can barely sustain a 20-minute call.
Are you serious?
I can't. It is very, very hard. Just from the credit, look at the cost of token. Look at all the charges, including the charges that were not there.
I was with somebody from NAC Kenya, a lady, and I was asking her the price of bread.
Yes.
She said it has been left for the Sonkos.
Imagine, I don't remember the last time I bought bread. I take mandazis. And boiled maize. Healthy, but...
You take unga?
Unga?
Yes.
I take unga. I take unga.
But the siagad one,
the siagad one.
Portion meat, yes. And then you have to go through the process.
You know, the whole process. So the issue.
Do you use gas?
I do use gas.
Yes. Are you not happy with the 300 bob issue? Many people now told me they are back to Makar.
Now let me ask you, Simba.
And
what is the essence of reducing the gas to 500 and the unga is still skyrocketing?
Okay.
So what will the gas do? Will we eat water with the gas? You know, this is an issue that needs to be addressed. There is there are things that fuel the life of a human being. Yeah. Basic things like foodstuffs. As long as they keep on skyrocketing, it will be very, very hard to have a good nation. You see? And you know, everybody is crying from all quarters. The rate of taxation is so high. Inflation is so high. Debts are ballooning. You know, we are not getting solutions. While we have heard the government saying that they have said that there were funds that got lost, and they are doing everything possible to ensure that they name and shame the people who fleeced the public coffers. Well, that is there, but what are the deliberate measures being put in place to ensure that the cost of living is brought down? That has not been seen yet. And that is not a view, that is a fact. Because the cost of living is an issue that pinches every citizen of this great Republic of Kenya. Yes.
You know, when you're talking about issues of debt, somebody told us in this panel here that the issue is not the debt. The issue is what the money that is being borrowed is used for. According to her, most of that money was landing in people's pocket. Are you the same opinion? And corruption in itself, are we on the right path? There is a new EACC being formed and all that. Don't forget, many people have been set free from their corruption cases.
See, the problem here,
Yes.
I would agree to some extent, but to another extent, I tend to drift away from her sentiments.
Yes.
I do agree the problem is on the debt, but I don't agree when she says that we look at the purpose which the debt was intended for. You see, of course, when you are taking the debt or you are asking for the loans, there has to be a reason why this loan is being sourced for. The construction of the Thika Road Spyway was a reason why the loan was there. The SGR was a reason. What we should interrogate are the debts now being used for those reasons that they were intended for. That is something that we're supposed to interrogate. To a considerable degree, sometimes the government has tried. What we have is a looting of money. This project costs 2.5 billion, or say 3 billion. And then 3.5 billion was earmarked for a certain project, say a dam or something. And the money that ends up there is 1 billion. 2.5 billion, where did the 2.5 billion go to? Did the money scatter away? No, it didn't. These are machinations of human beings. So I believe a huge chunk of our debts is being fleeced away, because you find that even the case of the dam story that we have had, we are now here the president saying that Aurora and Kimare Dam will now be reconstructed, but we had issues before of a loss of billions. So it is an issue that needs thorough, I don't know what, because we have endemic corruption in this country. Yeah, so we have not yet gotten the political goodwill that we need to have in order to wipe away corruption, because corruption is a creation of human beings.
Is David Oginde being appointed?
Bishop David Oginde has been nominated by the president to be the chairperson of the EACC. I firmly believe he's going to be appointed. Bishop David Oginde is a seasoned, I don't know what to call him, a pastor, a clergyman. Has been a leader. I've also attended his church, I've heard his teachings.
I've listened to his leadership forums on Hope Radio. They're very sober.
Very, very sober discussions. But I'll be brutal again, Mr. Simba. This is politics.
This is not church.
This is not church. He has been nominated by a president who is a politician and a head of a political party. So we handle things from how they're supposed to be handled. The EACC is not a church.
You remember what Lumumba faced in EACC?
Yes.
Do we anticipate the same for him?
I don't anticipate the same, except that I feel he's going to be a puppet of the president. Yes, because issues to do with EACC are weighty issues, the corruption issues. In fact, in one of our forums, we argued that if only we could have constitutional changes, commissions like EACC ought to have been empowered such that they stand independently, fully independent, such that even the chairperson of the EACC does not need to be nominated by a president. It is just an open process whereby any Kenyan can just apply and be there. Because you want to tell me, can EACC go and prosecute the executive? Of course not. Cases will be brought forth because we have had numerous corruption cases, some that were even in the DPP's desk. But what happened? They all went away, they were all thrown away.
Yeah, they're saying there were no cases there.
But, you know, the cases were there. Cases were there, because if you said cases were not there, then where did the monies go to? Because if the monies are not there, the money got lost. Where did the money did it go with Saturn, or who stole the money? So we have a very, very big problem. Yeah, you know. So institutionalization needs to take effect, you know, very, very fast, like a thunderbolt. EACC needs to be empowered, and the proper way of empowering EACC first is to ensure that it has full powers, becomes independent, away from the state, except maybe through funding or anything. Let them handle themselves the way they should, because to me, EACC nowadays looks just like another office. And it just looks like an ordinary office. The rate of corruption is still very, very high in this country, so there's a lot to do for Bishop David Okinde. But mine, I just hope that he will not handle this thing in a religious manner. I'm not against religion,
yes,
but of course we require a different approach or modality in handling cases to do with corruption.
okay.
It means it needs to be very, very thorough.
Yeah,
In the
religion
next
says
years.
forgive.
70 times 70. So you see, he's now in the political circles, and most cases he's going to deal with are political cases. And there are times when, if he decides to become brutal, they want even to remove him from office.
So remind him of his faith.
Yes, so this is not an issue of faith,
Right.
because I know even God does not condone corruption. It is in the Bible. You see, He doesn't condone corruption. So I do wish him all the best. And in his assignment, he needs to work with different stakeholders, different organizations, just to ensure that he has a feeling of what happens in the ground and how corruption happens, because most of the times they concentrate so much on the public officers, or rather the people working in government, or the big fish. But let him begin his work, let him spread his tentacles even to the grassroots levels, and then we will see maybe a change. And now that he's a man of the cloth, he can begin with a value shift, because corruption in Kenya is mostly within our value systems, because it is now all, it is
The ethics aspect.
the ethic aspects, of course, the ethics aspect. You'll come to a place and you'll ask Simba, hey Simba, I need you to do me this favor, I need you to organize for me this job. Like, someone does not believe that they can even get a job opportunity. They believe that someone has to chaperone the whole process so that they get the opportunities. So it is a systemic problem that needs ethical shift, as you rightly put it. So there is so much on David Oginde's desk. So let him serve the people of this country.
You see, when this government took over, one of the things President William Ruto did was to ask for prayers, because he said most of the monies are going into paying tax. He literally asked the nation to pray for that. And I remember Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua
Yes.
falling short of claiming the government is broke,
Yes.
because monies were stolen from boxes. And by the way, has he...
But even that, they did not have anything left to eat, and they ran away.
But then did he bring out the names? He said he's going to bring the list of shame.
He was in my constituency at Jesus Winners. I attended the church service
Yes.
because
Oh, you were in that service?
I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Oh,
See,
right.
I respect institutions. That is the institution of the presidency, which was in the church. forget about the person of Rigathi Gachagua. So he was in my constituency, so I attended the church service in anticipation of hearing good news from his administration. I didn't see the names, but you see, I am of a different view. It is not the function of the deputy president to list or name people he perceives or he assumes to have been corrupt. We have institutions. We have the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. We have the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Those are institutions fully fledged, and they have the responsibility to conduct investigation, and they are the ones who have the authority to sort out issues appertaining corruption. So to me, the deputy president was out of order.
Okay.
Yes.
KRA, the real authority.
Yes.
Somebody was saying they should be changed into a service so that they collect taxes in a friendly manner. Really, are Kenyans overtaxed? And really, don't we need money? The government says there's a problem, we need to do so much, yet there is no money.
But you see, to the end of the day, even if you change KRA into a service, as the taxes are being collected from Kenyans, they still collect these taxes from Kenyans. EACC was once called KACC, Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, but it was later renamed to Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. The reasoning was, okay, we have a shift. Let us not just address corruption, that there was a corruption issue. This thing stems from ethics.
Right.
So let us embed ethics.
But the bad manners lingers on.
The bad manners lingers on. So it is not about the name. It is about the responsibility. It's about the goodwill, you know, and the willingness, the willingness to address the real issues that are happening in this country. It is very true. We are being overtaxed. The rate of unemployment is very, very high.
Now, does this validate the march, the demonstration, don't you think?
The public holiday.
Whatever you call it.
Yes.
Are you aware of one group called Movement for
Defense of Democracy?
Are you for such a group? And are you aware that there is a gentleman who leads the group? What is his name? Okanga. Are you for such a group?
Yes, I support it. I support it because it is legal. We have the Constitution, Article 36 of the Constitution says any person, any citizen has the right to join any association of their choice, or any particular group that they feel they want to join. So it is lawful, and Article 37 of the Constitution talks about guarantees the right to demonstrate, to picket. You can picket and present your petition to any public office. That is why you had some times back His Excellency Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga said that we will march even to respective ministries to petition our grievances there. So as long as everything operates under the armpits of the law, it's okay. I would only question it if it is violent, because the Constitution says any person has the right to demonstrate, but you have to be unarmed. It says to peaceably demonstrate, not violently or armed. So as long as you operate within the armpits of the law, then everything is smooth. So I support the group.
I add nothing to that. Viewers, this is Politics Today. We've had our discussions. Keep following us every Monday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Hapa tunachapa siasa. Damian,
yes.
See you next week.
Thank you so much.